Creepshow. So today I want to talk about one of my all-time favorite horror films from the 1980s, George Romero's Creepshow, which I have here on Blu-ray. If you don't know, George Romero is the guy who is famous for kind of creating the zombie movie archetype, the idea of zombies coming back from the grave, eating human brains, and you have to destroy their brain to kill them. He was the guy who kind of created that with Night of the Living Dead. And George Romero, he teamed up with Stephen King for this movie. Stephen King, back when he was on cocaine and was in the height of his popularity in the 80s, he made Creepshow around the same time that he made Maximum Overdrive. And this movie has 5 different segments, and the first one is about a guy who comes back from the grave and kills his family who hated him. And at the end of the story, he kills his family member and like makes her head into a cake. And he says, "I got my cake." And then the story ends. And it's a good palate cleanser. Not a palate cleanser. It's a good like appetizer for this movie. It gets the movie going. The second story is The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. And in this story, it's about Stephen King, and he lives in the middle of the country, and he plays this goofy farm character. And this segment is way sillier than all the other segments, and he plays this goofy farmer who encounters this asteroid, and he touches it, and it starts growing this fungus all over his body and all over his property. And it's a crazy, crazy, crazy story. And the third one is about Leslie Nielsen, and it's he kills this family, and they come back, and it's really, really, really intense, and it's also like very different from the first 2 segments. And Leslie Nielsen is so intense in this movie. I love Leslie Nielsen in this movie, and I love the makeup in the movie. And the fourth story, The Crate, is my favorite out of the 5 segments. And in this one, it's about this crate that has a monster in it, and this guy has like this horrible, evil bitch wife who's the most annoying person in the world, and he fantasizes about killing her, and it's a really dark story. But the 4th segment is great. And then the 5th and final segment is about this really, really, really evil boss who is incredibly selfish, and he makes Ebenezer Scrooge look like a nice guy by comparison. And it's about these cockroaches that come and just kill him and destroy his body. And it's such an uncomfortable segment. And the beginning of this movie, it starts with this little kid getting slapped in the face by his father. And it really sets this shocking tone. Like, it's the first thing that happens. You just know the movie is going to be really fucked up and have a really fucked up sense of humor. So if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend Creepshow.